Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply once again. Today we're going to do update 111, and 111 is going to be a biggie. I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do to the layout. And if you stay tuned and stay tuned all the way to the end, you'll find out the entire plan, I'm sure. So, let's get started with 111. Okay, you all have seen this shelf down below here. I really don't use it for much of anything, which I thought I would. It's become kind of a catch-all, and I've decided to make use out of it, and I've been racking my brain in here to figure out how. I don't know whether it will be this tall or this deep, not this deep. From the top of the layout down, I don't know if it will be that deep. I may have to raise the bottom board up some. But let me kind of see if I can give you an overview of what I'm going to do here, or what I want to do here. Okay, so I'm standing way back against the door, about as far back as I can get. I'm planning on making that into basically 2 tracks passing sidings. And I guess that doesn't make much sense. But if I turn this camera around and show you where I'm going to start, maybe that would make more sense. Okay, I may have to break this video up a little bit so I can change camera positions and so forth, but as you guys may or may not know, and you probably do not know, this bridge right back here with the sides on it, that is the lowest spot on the main line. Not the lowest spot on the layout, but the lowest spot on the main line. So what my intention to do is, on the other side of this bridge, where it connects onto the next piece of track and starts to climb uphill a little bit to go back over here to Schmelly Meats, it starts climbing there at about the 2% rate, okay? It doesn't climb much by the time it gets over to Schmelly, but what I'm going to do, or what the intention is to do, and I'll try and keep you on track here, but I'm going to take the whole corner lake out, and it will give me access to everything from that mesa edge over there back. And what I intend on doing is, at this point over here beyond that bridge, is start going, instead of uphill, downhill over to the wall at some point. Like I say, the lake will come out. We will go near the wall. We can't go to the wall, and I'll explain why in a minute. We're going to go down the wall here and keep going downhill under scenery level, and we've got 4 inches thick foam to go through to get down. And we're going to go down and down and down until we get way over there underneath that little hill. Now, I don't know how much we'll be able to go down there. I think that's approaching 100 inches. If it is approaching 100 inches, we're going to have to wind up doing about a 3% grade down here. The grades I have now are 2%, and none of the trains seem to have a problem going up it. I always use 2 locomotives, so 3% should not be a problem. It'll never be a problem when it's going downhill, but it might be a problem coming uphill. But we're going to hope that it isn't. Now let me move the camera and explain to you where we're going to go from there. Okay, so we don't know how much of the scenery back there we're going to lose. What we do know is below the window there's probably going to have to be raised up to the level of the window, and then maybe sloped down, and the train will be passing inside of there slightly. Anyway, whatever level it gets to down here as it goes underneath this overpass, which that'll have to be rebuilt and the road will probably go straight out, I'm hoping to make a curve here, a 13-inch or maybe a 15-inch curve right here, and just on the inside of the fascia here, go underneath all of this scenery right here, just inside the fascia, around paralleling the fascia. And I don't know what we'll be down to when we get over here. We'll worry about that when we get there. And then from that point, we're going to go towards the back wall. And by that time, we'll be underneath all of this stuff here. And if not, I will carve the foam out to make it so we will be underneath it. And there's wood down underneath there that's going to have to be carved out. And then the track will head towards the back wall. When it gets to the back wall, it's going to turn and go along until it gets to the wall. There will be a turn in it. And from that point underneath the layout, just as it did on the previous layout, there will be bookshelf, shelf brackets bolted to the wall, not bolted, but screwed to the wall back there that will go downhill at maybe 2%, whatever percent it is, probably 2. And let me try to move around here. Down underneath all of this, underneath the entire layout, down to whatever it needs to be, and it will make a loop at the end down there and eventually come out on this board down here at the bottom, this one here. That track will have a siding on the inside or outside. It's not coming up in my head. Inside or outside, that will have one siding that goes the entire length of this shelf down here, okay? Just a single siding. Then, when it gets down here to the end, right in here, that track will go, and the track will make a loop under the layout, whichever way. I don't know if it'll go this way around, and make a loop underneath the layout, come back onto this board at that level, go down this board once again, go on the inside or outside, and go around the inside of that loop. It will be almost like a double main line going up that shelf along the back, uphill now at a 2% grade, until it gets back over here in the back. And I guess that track would be on the outside. And it'll go around the outside of where the track comes down, come around the outside of that track over here, eventually cross, it'll be coming up, it'll cross over the top of that track and tie back into the main line over here. Over, let's see, over in here somewhere, back in here. Ahead of the double crossover back there and behind the diner. Back to layout level. And where it goes downhill into the city. The turnout, there will be a turnout, at least in my mind, there'll be a turnout right back over here that turns to the inside. That turnout eventually will be level and go down and across and tie into a turnout just on the other side of the bridge over there. So if I want to go underneath the layout, I can go underneath, or I can bypass that and come across, just like it does now, back over here to the double crossover. I don't know if that's going to fly, because I don't know how much elevation I'm going to be able to go up and down, but I don't want to exceed, I really don't want to exceed 3%. Now let me tell you what my plan is with the track when it gets over here to this loop. Okay, what my original thought was is when the track comes down to whatever level it comes out over here, I was going to come outside, make a cut in the fascia, come on the outside and put that single track, one single track, around the outside of the fascia down and go all the way down to about there in that curve down there, and then go through the fascia once again back to the back of the layout and over to the shelf going downhill, the 2% going downhill. However, I realized that to do all this work under there, I'm going to have to take all this fascia off of here. And I don't know, I guess I could do it, I suppose. I'd have to get the track down to this location over here. Then I'd have to put the fascia back up, see where that would be, and bring it out on the outside. The only problem with that is, in my opinion, I would think it would look cool, but my distance between here and here, here and here, is only about 30 inches, even less than 30 inches, probably 28 inches. If I brought the track out there on the outside, it would look cool seeing the train go down it, but it would just decrease the amount of space to get for us to get through there. So what my plan is now, because I have stringers sticking out that this fascia is screwed to, I can lay a string or a plumb bob on that, or a level, on the end of that stringer, and I can tell up and down where the fascia will be. So it would be a lot easier for me to put the track on the inside of that, okay, and get it to just go back towards the wall once it gets back down there, than it would be to put it on the outside. Then I could put the fascia back up here, go underneath the layout with a magic marker, and I could draw a line where the track board is going to be. And I'm thinking about using masonite at least till I get to the back wall. Oops, I'm sorry, hit the camera. At least till I get beyond that, probably close to the back wall back there, at which point I'll probably use 1x or something, or maybe even plywood. The masonite I was going to use because I can lower that down on the stringers that are under there, and I won't have to cut the stringers quite as much to get a piece of masonite over it or under it as I would if I used a 3/4 inch piece of board, or even 1/2 inch or 3/8, anything. But what I intend on doing in between there is to I'm going to use some clamps and glue, and I'm going to glue stringers underneath the masonite in between the layout stringers. So anywhere the masonite gaps between the stringers, I will put a brace underneath I will glue a brace underneath the masonite. That should keep the masonite nice and sturdy. Of course, I can hot glue the Unitrack right to the masonite, and I shouldn't have any trouble under there. Now, I shouldn't have to get to this track very much because I'm going to solder it all just like I soldered the rest of the main line. Underneath the layout will all be soldered. Hopefully that'll keep it from expanding and contracting where I don't want it to. Once I get that done and I mark where the track is on the back side of the fascia here, I will take that back off and I will cut long openings in between these stringers so that you will be able to see the train going through. Not necessarily to access it if the train comes off the track or anything, but just so I can see where it is, what it's doing. I do have some cameras that I still have that I can put on any place under here I can't see, which will help. But if I'm able to do this and run this train along here, back to the back wall back there, along the wall where the cloud is over there, underneath the layout, and then downhill all the way over here to this shelf, and then make a loop underneath there, come back out to that shelf, and back up to the top of the layout and continue on its route it was on, it will almost double the length of run on this layout. Granted, you won't be able to see the train, but the trains will be gone much longer. So if I have 2 trains running, I could even have 2 or 3 trains running easily with just myself watching them. Once I got them adjusted, they would stay apart from each other for a long time. So that's the plan. I think I've said I think I may have already said something about it, but I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to take the camera over here and reiterate what I need to try and accomplish over here. Okay, to kind of just reiterate, the problem I'm going to have is this track down in here, by the time it gets to that bridge right there, it's at layout ground zero, which means there's 2 inches of foam under that. So I've got to go down 2 inches from that bridge right there, down 2 inches, and then from this bridge down another 2 inches to get even to the bottom of the 2-inch foam. Now, it's not easy to, I mean, it's not hard, rather, to hack foam out. I can hack foam out, no problem. And the scenery that's on top right now will definitely hold itself up in between what I take out. So, I guess what I'm saying is from here back to the fascia, all the way around to the back of the lake. Whoops, wait a minute, I lost my pointer. All the way around the back of the lake, all the way down here, all the way down to there. All that scenery is going to have to come out. All the trackage will have to come out from right about there where the end of the double crossover is. All this trackage, Schmelly Meats will move somewhere else or do something else. All this track here, all the scenery, probably up to the top of this mesa. I'm hoping to save this mesa edge right here, because I do believe that some of this will have to be raised up. And if I keep the lake would have to be lifted up for the train to be able to go under it and get to where I want to go. I don't know until I get this all torn apart. I'll have a better vision once I get this all torn apart here, how that's going to work and how I'm going to get from 2 inches up at this point where this little bridge ends here, and where I'm actually going to go. If I'm going to go back towards the corner there, would give me a little more run and then make a little sharper turn. But if I do that, the sharper the turn, the harder it is to get up 3% if it winds up having to be 3%. But then going down this wall, I'm going to have to leave space and hopefully get down far enough to be lower than the height at the double crossover, which I think the height at the crossover is should almost be 2 inches up. So if it's close to 2 inches up, I should be able to go under it at some point here, or I don't know, over it or under it. Anyway, probably over it. When I come around the outside, well, let me get over here. If I come around the very back, the very, very back, with the track coming uphill from down below, then I can hopefully come around right up against the wall over there and then come over the top over here somewhere of that track, the one going down from the bridge over here to my left, to our left. If I can go over the top of that, then I can come over here about where this existing track is, come up and through a tunnel portal, because this will have to be covered with something, probably come through a tunnel portal, and then that track will attach back into the double crossover right over there. So if I can get back up to that level there and over the other track, that will tie into the double crossover. So the idea, maybe I'm repeating myself, I'm trying to keep this straight in my head. From this bridge, it's going to have to start going downhill instead of uphill like it is right now. So it'll have to be going down, 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 down. Hopefully over in here somewhere, it'll be down enough to go over the top of it. Because this will be the part where it starts going downhill here, probably go into a mountain here, go downhill, 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 probably over to the outside over here, and then, like I said, out the end over there. The other track will be coming in here, hopefully somewhere back in here. I can cross over the top of that somehow. Probably an S-curve with 228 radiuses in it. Don't like S-curves, but that's the easiest way to get across without going out too far. And then come up and tie into the double crossover. That's the game plan, and I'm going to make it work somehow. The little bridge over here, if I go back over here, the little bridge over here can even start being on a downward, it's level now, but it could even, that's another 9 inches. I could add 9 inches to it by going downhill with the bridge, and then I'll have to eventually measure how far it is around there. Now, I'll tell you the way I'm going to do that. Once I get the Schmelly Meats out of the way, I'm not going to take any scenery out until I see how far that is. But what I do, in fact, let me turn this off and let me start another video instead of swinging you back and forth all day long here on how I'd make those measurements, or how much distance traveled I have. Okay, everybody, I thought I'd give you one last view of the lake over here because it may be the last time you see the lake. I don't know if it will be or won't be, but certainly it's got to come out right now, and along with some of the scenery like I showed you against the back wall over here. So we're giving you one last view of it, and I hope that you stay tuned for the things that are going to be happening in the future. I don't know how it's all going to work out. I see it all in my head, but my head is kind of weird. But so anyways, we'll see how this turns out. I hope you stick with us, and as usual, thanks for watching.